Hello, this is the Anime Outlook, and today we're doing the chapter 211 of the very special series World Trigger, and we're reviewing it today. So I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all doing fantastic, phenomenal, juicy, whatever adjective you'd like to use, as long as it's a positive one. Now, before I get into chapter 211 and the whole character fest we had, I would just like to ask you to please subscribe, like, comment how you felt about this chapter and how you would rate it personally. But it's all up to you. Now, moving on to the chapter review. This was very nice, tame chapter, and was a complete different move from what we had last time. Last time was a god-awful amount of information dropped on us, which I know we love, but I did think it was about time for a little calm down, a little bit of rest from all the information dumps. And this is exactly what we got. We've just gotten loads of character interactions and basically gotten more of a grasp on how a lot of the squads are doing and how they're coping with each other, and basically seeing that there isn't as much tension and as many problems as it seems at the moment as we thought there would be from clashing personalities. But let's start with the very first page of the chapter, coming back from our main sewer squad being dead last in the rankings, and we see Sewer showing the squad in the group, saying we're in last place day one. The next panel is kind of hilarious, seeing Katori just absolutely outraged that she's actually losing something for once. The fact that she's being held down by someone else and not that her genius and talented personality just got them straight to first. But I do love the fact that she actually calmed herself down and just made a reasonable statement of that Osamu needs to start pulling his weight, and then they'll move up to the middle of the pack. And you see a nice surprised face from the other members of the group, just going, she didn't explode. Wow. And this shows us some growth of Katori and the fact that she's learned from her mistakes from her squad and what happened in the rank wars, and the fact that she was too aggressive, she was too loud, she was just trying to do everything herself and thinking too highly of herself. So now she's calmed down a bit, she's still got that anger temperament, but that's just more of her quirkiness than being a defining factor, and that she's actually thinking things through. And as we see on the next page, Suwa thinks the exact same thing. It's all about Osamu catching up on the work he couldn't do because he ran out of Trion, which is not a big situation. They can easily move up in the ranks. Then we move on to another squad, the Utagawa squad, where Yuma is, and it's pretty clear that Yuma is holding them back. The fact that they don't have the smartest members, and the fact of Yuma, he's spent most of his life at war, and as Urashima keeps saying, he's holding them back because he keeps asking for help and making others fall behind on their work. Yuma fully recognizes this, and then we get to see a bit more of Urashima's personality, and the fact that he's just there for the bonus, and we know that he's just a money-grabbing person, but he's literally adamant the fact that Yuma, you've got to get your act together, otherwise all my haggling is going to be for nothing. But from what we see, they're casually getting along. Sayako's not having too many problems, like she's still a bit iffy with Kotaro, but that's to be obvious, she can't handle men very well, and it's just nice to see these interactions, and then eventually Utagawa showing us his role as a leader, dishing out different roles of people, like who's going to help Yuma, who's going to help Kotaro, just making sure no one's overloaded with work. Then we move on to the Wakamura squad and the fact that they are 10th place and basically dead last, because but that's also partly because, as Hugh says, he fell behind on his assignments, and basically this chapter is kind of saying, you know, the rankings were kind of just bait in a sense to get us worried about the characters, but in reality it's just that the neighbor characters are finding it a bit hard because they're not used to these kind of things and topics, and then Osamu just struggled because he ran out of Trion, so all they've got to do is just catch up and then ask for more help. And what I'm surprised with is that Hughes was actually asking for help, showing that he actually is a team player, and we know this from what happened in the rank wars. He cares about the team, he cares about the squad a whole lot, and it's really nice to see here. Then moving on to the next page, the Wakamura squad realizes they're actually in last place because they kind of put together that Osamu might have problems with his Trion because he's got such a low pool. But eventually the Wakamura squad comes up with a plan to say that they're all going to focus on the topics that they're good at, write down the answers, spread them around, and so everyone can just have the answers to the universal questions, and so they don't have to work as hard to figure out each question and take more time. They've got the answer sheet with them, making it so that they can get the points much faster and much more efficiently. The Wakamura squad's like, but isn't that technically cheating? But as Hughes says, they received all the credit for their work, and helping verbally is fine, so why wouldn't helping with writings be fine as well? Because initially this is a test to see how they do on an away mission. And as Hughes says, on a real mission, we would need to adapt. We'd have to solve issues that come up on the fly as quickly and efficiently as possible. But sadly we see that Wakamura is not coming to his own as a captain, which I'm rather sad about, to be honest, because I'd hoping there would be some confidence there. I know Wakamura doesn't like to be in charge, has been worried about being in charge, but I would have thought that just jump into it and go into the deep end and make rash decisions. That's the way I thought it was going to go. But he's being much more thoughtful at the moment, and when he's been dealt a really good plan, he's taking time to think about it and making a decision the next day, which I think isn't the best move. As a leader, you've got to show your strength, and you've got to show that you're a quick decision maker. So Wakamura should have just been like, that's a good plan, let's do it, and then we can sort out tonight each topics everyone's good at, and then deal out the universal questions that way, so they act more efficiently. However, they're now going to have to do that the next day when Wakamura obviously says, yes, that's a good plan. We then move on to the Ninomiya squad, a squad that I was thinking there would be more collisions, just because Ninomiya is a bit of an arrogant guy and a bit of a guy that is hard to understand. But it seems they're just casually getting along, no real arguments, just getting on with the work. Very professional. This chapter really shows off the professionalism of the squads and the members. The fact that they are pros and this is one of their missions, so they're not going to act irrationally and immaturely. But in the Ninomiya squad, they're just dealing out the foods. They're having stir-fry rice and soup tonight, apparently. And I love the fact that we get some information of that. The fact that Chika absolutely loves rice. The fact that the one thing she brought with her personal item, was just a whole bucket of rice is just amazing. And she's kind of cute when she goes, cool, when they're making extra rice. And it's so cute. Chika's very cute in this. And then we go on to the Kakizaki squad, which they're making dinner plans, as well as very nice, very tame. Just seeing that these squads are getting along. I love the reaction when Taichi's like, oh, I want to pitch in too. And then their squad leader just literally, you see he's panicking because you do not want him working on anything other than missions, because he is going to fool around, he's going to wreck everything. He's a ticking time bomb, but that's why we love him. Lastly, we go to the Kadera squad that I haven't particularly thought much about, but they're also just making dinner, which doesn't seem to be going well, with the pot overflowing, and she's just going, wah. It's from this, I want to know more about that character. I can't remember her name, I can't recall. However, I want to know more about her, because she seems really cute and ditzy. But lastly, with what we're left with is Kadera calling Suwa, wanting to ask him something. Now this is odd because firstly, I wasn't aware that they could interact with other squads, or the fact that maybe they can't interact with other squads, but they both those captains met up and decided, our personal items are going to be our mobile phones, and the fact that they can call each other. Maybe that was possible. But we're left with this cliffhanger and the fact that, what does Kadera want to ask? Now, I don't think it's going to be anything particularly huge or groundbreaking in what we see from the next chapter, but it's still very interesting, the fact that Kadera is someone who's very smart. You saw the fact that he figured out the special assignment very easily and very efficiently. So it makes me question, what would he need to ask Suwa for help with? Because Suwa's not the most intelligent person. Suwa's someone who works much more based on instinct, as we've seen, at least what I think anyway. So it's very interesting to see that he's asking Suwa for help. Maybe it's just the fact that they're going to keep interacting and keep contact, so their squads can work together and have sort of an alliance for this part and the second part of away mission test. However, that was the chapter that released today, chapter 211. I've had to keep this review short because I've been very busy lately, and I'm sorry about not getting this out much earlier, but I do appreciate all of you who watch and all of you who subscribe and like and comment. I hope you had fun, I hope you enjoyed this chapter, and overall, I love you guys, so see you next time, have a good day, bye.